Want to stand up? Hey everyone, today we're going to have a look at a few differences between an E-mountain bike versus a non-E mountain bike. First up, sorry I haven't done many videos lately, especially the follow-up to the Turbo Levo range tests. My girlfriend and I, a long-term girlfriend, not like a short, not like, don't want it to seem weird. We bought a house together, it's our first house, and as you can imagine, that's taken a lot of time and focus. I've gotten a new job as well, which I've been looking for 9 months after finishing uni. So I'm moving out of my construction job, which I was previously in. Nothing wrong with construction, it's just not the direction I want to go. This is the first time I'm telling you guys all of this anyway. And as well as that already, within the last week and a half, we've also had a death in the family. Probably shouldn't smile, but just a natural thing to do. So, just a little man walking out there. It's actually a reasonably proportioned man. But, yeah, so it's been a bit hectic and I haven't really done that much riding. I've actually let myself go a bit. When I say let myself go, everyone will be like, oh. But yeah, I've only done, what, an hour or two a week? Which, I mean, it's still good, but it's nothing to what I'm used to, and I'm starting to feel it physically a little bit, and then mentally I'm not wanting to go for those rides or the runs or whatever just because I'm out of rhythm, and it's sort of like a domino effect, so I've been trying to get out of it. This video has made me do that, so let's go. How is this for making this video look good and really going to the extra length to get it out, set it up, make it look real nice for you. I won't bore everyone with the same bike intro. If you want to see what this bike is, I'll put a little card thing up here that you can click on and see the bike in all its glory. But for the purpose of this video, we're just going to get right into it. Or as you can see, we already have gotten into it, and this is actually me after the ride, forgetting to do the bike intro. So, yeah, here's the road bike and the hardtail. Let's get into the action then. So first things first, when we're comparing the major differences in riding an e-bike versus the non-e-bike, we're going to look at the bikes we're actually comparing. So the bike I'm riding today is the Specialized Turbo Levo Comp, the 2021 model, versus what I've previously ridden. We'll go off most previously, but again, it's a general term. This is just a reference point for you. I've been riding the Yeti SB5.5 TURQ model. So, you know, they're very similar bikes in terms of travel. Obviously, the Yeti's got the Swiss Infinity Link system. But all in all, they're sort of like the same genre. You're going to be riding the same technical aspects as you would on both the bikes. First and foremost, my experience for reference, for those who don't know, I've competed on a state, national and world level across multiple cycling disciplines. Probably the most relevant one today would be the Enduro World Series. And yeah, this e-mountain bike really does feel like a mountain bike. I can't understate how good it actually feels. A lot of people will say that it ruins the flow, it ruins the ride. It's not the same fun anymore. But like I think it's almost better, and I'll go into those details about how it specifically feels a lot better in a minute, because I guess you can't just use a blanket term and say it's good and then everyone's like, yay! The climbing. We're going to start here because it's the quickest to get through, because it's the most common sense. Everyone knows an e-bike is better to climb just because you've got all that extra power behind you and the torque. But in terms of actual trail riding, what that creates is that you can ride faster up hills to get to your descending trails. You can ride steeper terrain much easier, and you can ride more technical aspects because you've you've got the extra power behind you, the momentum, you can just push up stuff. At that same time, we'll get into this in the next step. Some technical aspects, like the really tech climbs, can become more difficult, especially if you're trying to do sort of like trialsy stuff. Now, the reason trialsy sort of stuff is so much more difficult, well, not so much more, but it is another step up, initially at least, when you're getting used to the bike, is that you've got to be pedaling the whole time for pedal assist to kick in. And obviously you can ride the bike without the pedal assist, without the motor turned on, but for technical uphills, you need it because of the weight behind the bike. It's just too hard to get up some things without that. Now, in pedaling the whole time to get the motor to go, it does create some issues when you're riding up hills and there's like little roots on the trail and rocks and stuff that you've sort of got to hop over, as you would normally. But when you hop, as soon as you like do a little bunny hop, or like a trials hop or whatever, naturally you stop pedaling. And when you do that, the motor cuts out. And because it's got like lag, a little bit of lag, they say they don't have lag. And they're really pretty good, but at the end of the day there will be lag compared to a normal bike, which is instant. It's literally what you put out. You do have some stalling moments. So now I've been riding the bike for as long as I have. I've learnt to continue to pedal. It really changes the riding style up a bit, but this is the only aspect I've found that really does differ from your traditional mountain bike. You've just got to be pedaling the whole time. So someone I actually know who works at the local bike shop has opted for the smallest crankset he can find, just so that he's got all of that extra clearance, which is something to think about, but I haven't gone that extra step yet. When you're descending on the bike, or actually for anything, it's not just descending, it's every action you do on the bike, be it a bunny hop, be it like smashing out a corner on a sweeping berm, be it like a wheelie, anything. Even just moving your handlebars back and forth to turn the thing on a road. Everything's more exaggerated. So all of your actions on the bike are exaggerated. Like it's almost as if you're trying to teach someone how to ride a bike. So if you were going to teach them how to do a bunny hop, and then you do it fully exaggerated, that's what it's like. It's like you're in a film, like a how-to video, and when you go around a corner, you like really go around that corner. But after riding the bike for a week, you don't notice it anymore. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a thing nonetheless. The elephant in the room, or one of the elephants. I guess there's a lot of elephants with the e-bikes, depending on who you ask. But the added weight, the extra weight. So what? My old Yeti SB5.5 weighed like 11 kilos probably, whereas this bike weighs in the vicinity of close to 22, which is like, it's more. It's arguably could be more than double your bike, especially if you're riding like XC bikes, or road bikes even. How many more? It's like 3 road bikes. But I have found that this added weight, I actually like more. It's got like if you've ridden a downhill bike before, and like properly ridden a downhill bike on proper downhill trails, you'll notice that the extra weight of the bike, and the grip from the tires, everything's bigger. Everything's stronger, and you can really push into everything. You've got a lot more confidence in your actions. You've got more grip, sort of regardless of the tyres. Obviously the tyres help, which e-bikes generally do have bigger tyres, but we're not going to go into that because tyres you can just swap out. I really find that the weight is better for me. Obviously, there's less weight transferability, but and on that note, I've actually found, this might be controversial, but after having a look around the internet, I've found people have had similar experiences, but I guess it's dependent on where you live and the steepness of the trails. But I've actually found on the local trails where I live that I am arguably quicker on the e-bike descending, regardless of whether the motor's on or not, versus the old Yeti. Now, I don't know why this is. I put it down to having that extra weight behind me because I can carry a lot of speed through the corners and over technical things. I can sort of bulldog now instead of having to finesse. Obviously, I still finesse when I have to, but you can really just bulldog straight through things, which is good. Obviously, the less steeper terrain that you're riding, the more difficult it would be to match your previous time because you'd have the pedaling element, and if you've got the motor turned off, obviously that's a lot more difficult. But on the whole, I honestly believe that I am quicker on the e-bike, and when I tell people that, they're like, oh, you've got a motor, of course you are. But really, without the motor, if it was just a normal, really heavy bike, I think obviously it would be terrible uphills, but I really honestly believe that I am a better rider downhill because of it. Well, not necessarily a better rider, but a quicker rider. In truth, I think riding a hardtail everywhere makes you a better rider with the seat up. Obviously, to become the better rider, you're not necessarily going to become the fastest rider, but vice versa is true. Now, the big thing with e-bikes is the whole mentality that you can foreseeably double your distance, double your ride. That's loosely said because it's not exactly double, but double the time. So the same time with double the distance. Obviously, there's a huge amount of variables in that, but that's what all e-bike manufacturers seem to say. And loosely, if you're not going too deep into it, it's relatively true, which means double the descents and also double the climbs. But let's not talk about that. In riding double the distance in the same amount of time, naturally, you're going to get the comments that follow regarding e-bikes being cheating, and I'm not ready to get an e-bike yet because I'm still a fit, healthy individual. I'm too young to get an e-bike. I still like to train. I like to feel pain. It's all bullshit. It really is just bullshit. When I've been out on the trails, I have found, so I use, we'll put some science in here. I use Training Peaks. I've been really into training on the road bike with power meters and stuff. So I've really been into that in the past. I've still got sort of like residual training bursts, but obviously I'm not really training for anything because I haven't done racing in such a long time. But I'm aware of how training works and the tools to measure it. And I can get a training stress score from all my rides, and relatively the same time that I go for a ride on a mountain bike versus the e-mountain bike, you get the same training stress score, but you've covered double the distance and had double the fun. And that's science, I guess. Very loose science, going off my word, but it's a degree of science in there. So on my rides, my heart rate and power can be very similar to before if you want it to be. The thing with the e-bike is that you've got the option not to go hard if you don't want to, which is then great for recovery riding. So I've got a friend who's very into cycling. He competed in the Rio Olympics recently for mountain biking and road riding, a bit of a double whammy there. And he was very interested when I got the e-bike because he wants to take it for a spin, see how it is. He wants one himself, just for recovery days, so that he can go out and smash the mountain bike trails, have heaps of fun, and obviously still be fresh for the following training week. So you really have that element of getting to choose what you want your ride to be. You might want a really hard ride, or you might want a really easy ride. Obviously riding with other people who don't have e-bikes makes things tricky, but you can, with the Specialized Turbo, you can adjust those pedal assist power outputs through the mission control app to adjust your rate of difficulty on the bike. Or alternatively, you could turn it off. It all depends. It all depends really where you're at and what you want to do. These last few points aren't necessarily riding related directly, but you do have the motor noise versus the normal bike. Mine is very, very minimal versus the common sow, which I've had in a few videos, and that's a lot louder. But, it's all much of a muchness. Brand to brand is going to change. But as far as I know, at the moment, you're always going to pretty much have a bit of noise. Where there's no Tesla bike yet. But to be fair, it is very quiet. A lot of people, online people will be like, oh, I didn't notice in the Specialized marketing campaigns. I didn't notice you were on an e-bike. You can notice. Another factor to take into consideration in differences between e-bikes and non-e-bikes, again, this isn't riding, but it is getting to the point of where you want to ride, is you can't take your e-mountain bike on an aeroplane to fly somewhere else to get new trails. Well, I can't take mine at least, and a lot of people can't take theirs. There are e-bikes where you can, like the Turbo Levo SL, for example, with the smaller batteries. Alternatively, you can take the main 700 watt hour battery out of mine and put in some of those smaller ones. You can work around it, but it is more difficult to do. So my friend, one of them just got my one friend, just bought a new 2021 Turbo Levo SL. He went brutal and got the S-Works edition, which I can't fathom how much that must have cost him. And he's already complaining because he reckons it doesn't go as far and it's not as powerful and blah blah blah, and he just bought it, and I'm like, what are you doing? But basically he got it for the aeroplane. He wants to take his bike places, and living on an island state, that's a big draw card. So all in all, if he is traveling, I think he made the right decision, but he needs to accept that. And last but not least, while we're on the issues of differences in the e-bike and non-e-bike with loose regard to riding, obviously you are much more likely to get a warranty or bike issues in general with the electronics there. And if it is a warranty, that's great because you don't have to worry about it. But there's the chance if you get a second-hand bike, you're screwed over. And these issues, a lot of them, you can't fix yourself. You can't DIY it in the home mechanic stand. You've got to take it to the shop. But in saying that, you can get aftermarket kits to repair motors and batteries if you have bought a second-hand e-bike and it's gone kaput. Personally, I have no experience with this, but I've heard it. And I've seen it. I'm not sure whether they do it themselves or get someone else to, but I know it's possible. So never rule that out. Fight on to live another day. So with that being that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it answered some of the questions that you might have been brewing on the difference between an e-bike and a mountain bike in terms of feel, if you don't already have that, or you're just interested to hear my opinion. Yeah. So if you enjoyed it, give it a like. Leave a comment if you've got something to say. Otherwise, I'm not that fast. And be sure to subscribe for future videos, especially that the continuation on the Turbo Levo range tests on the trail and eco mode, which I'm getting around to. I am. See you next time.